Hey guys, James here. I'm one of the co-founders of Cortex Education, and I am a college consultant who focuses on bringing about the best results by focusing on personal development. And today I want to talk quickly about one of the biggest traps that I constantly see my students falling into, and that's the trap of letting other people fill up your to-do list. Now, what do I mean here? Well, a lot of students work with their phone nearby, or with iMessage open or Facebook Messenger open on their computer, and as their friends send them messages asking questions about homework and whatnot, my students are constantly just responding to these messages. And when I ask my students, okay, so are you, getting distracted by messages while you're trying to do work? A lot of them will say things like, well, no, I'm just, I'm just talking with my friends about work. I'm like, okay, so what kinds of things are you actually talking about? And as it turns out, most of the time, my students are just, they're just answering questions that their friends have about various assignments. And it's not actually helping my student. So this reminds me of a concept that I read about. I follow Chris Sacca, who's one of the legendary Silicon Valley investors, and what he tells us is that when you allow other people to send you messages and then you just respond to them, basically what you're doing is, on your office door, or in the case of a lot of students, your bedroom door, it's like you post up a giant to-do list or you're just inviting the entire world to come to your door and write whatever they want on it, whatever questions they want, whatever tasks or requests that they have for you on that to-do list, and then you're going to take care of them right away. That's the physical equivalent of leaving your messages open and paying attention to what messages are coming in. And here's another great thing that I am pulling from Drew Houston, who is the founder of Dropbox, another kind of Silicon Valley figure that I find really inspirational. He says that when he's working, he does not get distracted by random emails. And what he has is a folder in his email inbox called OPP, and he calls it other people's problems, or more politely, other people's priorities. So I really encourage you to think about these messages that come in as OPP, other people's priorities. And you don't have to be, selfish about it. You can answer these questions for your friends, but I would say do it on your own timeline. There's a couple of reasons for this. First of all, there was a study done at UC Irvine a couple of years ago that showed that when we get distracted by push notifications on our phones, it takes about 23 minutes to get back to being fully focused. That's horrendous. That means that if you get a notification every 15 to 20 minutes, you're doomed. That means you're never actually fully focused on your work. So that's one thing. We want to avoid the distraction that comes in with just like push notifications that pop up on our screen or on our phone. The second thing is that when you are so responsive to your friends every time they ask you a question, what you're doing is you're subconsciously training your friends to be lazy, to go to you to ask simple questions. Have your friends ever asked you a question that could have been answered by a quick search on Google, or maybe a quick search on School Loop or whatever online portal your school uses? A lot of times these questions can be answered very readily through just a quick search, but people get lazy and they just message their friends. So you don't want to be that friend who is just constantly answering questions for everybody else. And so here's my suggestion. You can continue to be a good friend and to answer questions for your classmates, but what I suggest that you do is keep your phone away, right? Keep it away from you. We've talked, we talk endlessly to our students about keeping your phone away. It's really, really important. And also don't leave messengers and iMessage open on your computer as you work. Then, in between assignments or during your breaks, you can go onto your phone and check your messages, answer anything at that point. That way, you're still being a good friend, right? You're still answering people's questions, but you're not training them to be super lazy and to just come to you for every time they have any question that pops into their mind, because they know they'll get an immediate response. So you're actually doing yourself a favor, a huge favor, by removing the distractions, avoiding those push notifications that destroy your focus for 23 minutes every single time, and you're actually doing your friends a favor by training them to be a little bit more self-sufficient. Just remember, it does not make any sense to have a huge to-do list that's just on your bedroom or office or study space door, and then just invite the whole world to just add questions and tasks to them and random requests. You don't want to do that to yourself, and you don't want to do that to other people either. So that's something that I've been thinking a lot about, because it's coming up a lot with my students. Especially these days, now that schools are closed, things are a little bit more confusing. There's a lot of messaging going around, and there's this feeling like, oh, this is the only way I can connect with my friends and my classmates. So really avoid that. Control your attention. Control when you devote your attention to your work versus devoting your attention to being a good friend and answering those questions for your friends. So hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully the tip about keeping your phone away and just checking your messages during breaks is something that you can implement. And remember, if you want to build a habit, a really great way to do that is to just do the habit perfectly for 1 week. And then at the end of the week, you can decide, okay, what difference did that make? Do I feel a lot better about my productivity? Or maybe it didn't make a difference? And you can decide whether you want to continue that. And you'll find that it's a lot easier to continue after you've had that just 1 week where you perfectly carried out that new habit. So that's all for today. If you guys like the tips that I gave in this video, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and I'll keep making these as long as you guys can benefit from them and you continue to watch them. So again, my name is James. I'm one of the founders of Cortex Education, and I'm a college applications and college admissions consultant focusing on personal development, because I think real success comes from inside. So thanks again for watching. See you next time.